Teacher knowledge and behavior is the component of the model that focuses on teachers' knowledge of students and content and on their expertise in classroom management and pedagogy. Teacher knowledge is the element of teacher knowledge and behavior that encompasses knowledge of student characteristics and teachers' in-depth content knowledge and the blending of these to enhance learning. More information on this can be found in the Technology as Facilitator of Quality Education model.
I imagine you're going to have a little fun in the process because I've seen these stations, these exhibits, and they're pretty good. And I even hear that there might even be candy at one of them, so I don't know.
The teacher's in-depth content knowledge is evident in her selection of content material and instructional strategy. In order to get her students actively involved in learning the material, she has them teach it to younger students. The teacher understands that the material lends itself to this instructional strategy.
But what you're going to do is you'll be at an exhibit for about 5 minutes or so, 6 minutes, I get to time, and then I'll tell you to switch.
The high school students use their interpersonal intelligence as they present their exhibit to the grade school visitors. The high school students guide the younger learners through the ocean exhibits, providing them with hands-on activities and interactive multimedia computer presentations. The teacher demonstrates her knowledge of student characteristics in her understanding of what both the high school and elementary students are capable of. She requires her high school students to design activities that address the multiple intelligences of other learners. The effectiveness of this kind of activity depends upon the ability of students to interact with each other as they work in groups. The high school class has created an ocean museum with interactive exhibits. One group used posters to help illustrate the different features of ocean waves. The students visiting the exhibit can look at and label the parts of a wave depicted on the poster. The group uses its knowledge of student characteristics to address their learners' visual spatial intelligence. The same group takes learners' bodily kinesthetic intelligence into account by providing a hands-on activity in its exhibit. Visitors can put a rubber duck in a pan of water and study the motion of the duck when they disturb the water.
Stick your hand in there and really softly and just kind of swoosh it. Okay, it's moving somewhat, but not like a lot. It's the waves that are moving underneath it, so it's not the duck, it's the water.
The group uses HyperStudio to familiarize learners with the concepts of the length, the crest, and the trough of a wave.
Okay, the crest is the highest point of a wave. It is one of the two basic parts of a wave, and the scientists study the crest to learn more about the other features. So surf back home and click on the wave pyramid.
A different group has created an exhibit on how temperature and energy are exchanged between different layers of water in the ocean. This group also displays knowledge of student characteristics by teaching to multiple intelligences. The group targets learners' bodily kinesthetic intelligence by providing them with a hands-on activity. The learners must fill bottles with cold and warm water. The warm water is dyed green and the cold water is dyed yellow. The learners can then observe how the water moves between the bottles when the bottle with warm water is placed above the bottle with cold water and vice versa. The exhibit also targets learners' visual spatial intelligence by giving them a visual representation of the heat exchange that occurs between the layers of the ocean. Since the exhibit helps students understand natural phenomena, it also addresses learners' naturalistic intelligence.
Go along the edge so you don't get hardly any ice. A little bit of ice is fine. And then you can use this one if you can't make it all the way to the top with water to fill it the rest of the way. You guys are going to get it. Alright. Remember, the warm one's on top. Okay. See how they really didn't mix except just right there? Okay. Now I'm going to put the cold one on top of the warm one. Now what do you think is going to happen? Do you think they're just going to mix? They're going to mix? Why?
Because the cold water is more dense.
Yeah. And heat does what?
Rises.
Yeah. So,
The exhibit on sonar addresses logical mathematical intelligence. Learners must use a graph to depict the topography of the ocean floor. Since the graph provides a visual representation of the ocean floor, the exhibit also accounts for learners' visual spatial intelligence. The students who created the sonar exhibit also built a model. The model helps learners understand how sonar creates a picture of the ocean floor. The model provides not only a visual representation of sonar, but also a device students can manipulate in order to better understand the principles behind sonar. This lets learners use their bodily kinesthetic intelligence to comprehend sonar.
Put something that's familiar inside there.
It's kind of like a homemade Play-Doh type thing and film stuff.
It's just kind of a shape to simulate the shape of the ocean floor.
Sort of like you see there. It could be a fishing ship or a scientist ship to map the floor.
Is this like studying anything else in science besides the oceans?
The teacher's in-depth content knowledge is evident as she listens to her students reflect on their teaching experience. The teacher points out that comprehension of the subject matter is an important part of teaching, and she remarks that through teaching, she has often achieved new comprehension, coming to understand science in new ways.
Some of you already answered this though. What did you learn about teaching in the process? Shane.
I learned that it's a lot easier to teach when you understand it. I mean, like really well.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I think that you learn better by teaching it.
Oh, exactly. Oh, and I noticed that difference when I started teaching is like all of a sudden when I was the student, I was learning things, but then when I became the teacher, all of a sudden I had to understand it so much better than when I started. And so I learn a lot every day.